It's Wednesday the 29th of January in the Vendée Globe, the skipper's 80th day at sea. And we start off with a clip from Boris Herrmann yesterday when he was crossing the Bay of Biscay and he is nursing his boat towards the finish line in Les Sables. We then get a clip from Kojiro Shiraishi and then Jingkun Xu, and we understand why he's wearing some red socks. And then Violette Dorange, who had a little visitor on board her yacht. We then take a look at the tracker and the leaderboard, particularly focusing on this group from 15th to 22nd place, which is so tightly packed. And then take a look at the PredictWind routing options for Kojiro Shiraishi to find out if he's correct in his assumption that he's going to be going north of the Azores. And then we finish off today with updates from Conrad Coleman and Oliver Heer.
Hi everyone, it's one of the last days of the Vendée Globe. Lunchtime, Mexican dish. I never had this before. From New Zealand apparently. Plant-based. Looks healthy. Let's see if it tastes good in a minute. Just a quick update. We are around the corner of Spain, around Cape Finisterre mostly. We are now just on the shelf, the continental shelf. To the northwest, it points out a little bit where the water depth is a little bit less. So offshore it's 4,000 or 5,000 meters, and then here this little shelf sticks out where it's about 400 meters. So I was wondering if it affects the sea state, but I can't really tell. The sea state is a bit more chaotic now, but that might also be because of the shifting winds or something. In any case, the wind has dropped to below 40, so it's averaging 35. Right now I have 37. But then when rain squalls come through, I just had one half an hour ago, then the wind was back up to 46. So not easy to put really big sails, especially because I want to keep the boat speed not much higher than 20 knots in the surfs and the waves because of the broken foil. Do not take risk to get that loosened or breaking more or something, or break the ropes that hold it. That would be pretty dangerous. So I had some surfs at above 30 knots last night with pretty crazy conditions. Some waves would hit the boat hard and tip the boat a bit out of course. The rudder's stalling. But the pilot managed everything by itself, and I didn't really have to do much, to be honest. Just I was holding on a bit tight each time, and for the whole night there was no sleep. But the boat does great. It's like swimming like a cork on top of all these squirrely waves, and that's probably easier than with a massive cargo vessel in this sea state. So it does really well. It's a really seaworthy boat. It's great to see that and to have experienced that. That did all the night until just a few hours ago, just with Third Reef main. Then I unfurled the storm jib for an hour, and now I'm with the J3. Under normal racing condition with the boat in one piece, we would probably be on the jib top or a small gennaker, maybe 2 reefs, and struggle a lot with the waves and be super stressed. So I'm a little bit more eased because of my penalty with the foil. I can't push the boat, so it's rather relaxing, although I'm in the middle of this strong weather. Traffic is not so easy to monitor with my broken electronics. No radar. AIS is limited range with an antenna in the back. So that's the big worry, of course, but luckily in the strong conditions there's not so much traffic, at least not so many fishing boats maybe. Yeah, what else? In a couple of hours until the end of daylight, then I will jibe, and that will be a bit tricky. Most of the rest of the trip will be on starboard tack with the broken foil and more in the water on port. I hope that's gonna work out fine. We will see. I don't know actually. And that delays also our arrival. I cannot sail at normal speed, so we are not so sure if it's tomorrow evening or Wednesday morning. Okay, good night.
1月の28日です。今、貿易風を横切ってる感じですね。予想よりちょっとアップインド気味ですね。アップインド気味で今走ってます。ここら辺は猿ガストがすごいですね。船の中もね、コックピットの中も猿ガストが入ってきました。結構長い間一面猿ガストを浮いております。多分ね、ラダーにもね引っかかってるんですが、あとハイドロはねもう猿ガストで水中発電機は使えない状況ですね。昨日までね、雲の中入ってたんですが、今ちょっと太陽が出てます。そういうことでこれからしばらく、ちょうど、貿易風を横切る感じ、アップインド気味ですごいパンチングです。どっかんどっか船叩きながら走ってます。でも、順調にね、こう北上しているので、どんどんアゾレス諸島に近づいてきます。今のところアゾレスの予報では北を回る感じのイメージですけどね、もうちょっと行ってみないとわからないんですけども、なかなか、直線的にはねレサーブルに近づけません。ということで、まだまだ暑いんですけどもね、船叩きながらバンバン言いながら走っております。以上です。チャオ。
看我的小红袜子，今年是我的本命年。在中国的传统里边，本命年需要穿红色的衣物来驱邪、来辟邪、来保平安。所以今年我穿上了我的小红袜子，嘿嘿，在大西洋里边看。新的一年，蛇年平安。
The tracker shows us both Boris Herrmann and Sam Davies going slowly across the Bay of Biscay. They are under very much reduced sail, and the reasons become obvious when you look at the wind strength. At the moment they've got a southerly which is gusting, for Sam Davies only 18 knots and about 25 knots for Boris Herrmann, and he is on starboard tack, which means he's using that broken port foil. The forecast over the next 24 hours is very interesting, and if you look in 12 hours time they will have the wind behind them, and then in 24 hours time they'll have a northerly, and so they're trying to make their way through that wind and get to Les Sables d'Olonne before that cyclonic wind really kicks in. While Roman Atanasio makes his way to the north of the Azores exclusion zone, it's the battle for 15th which is incredibly intense. If we zoom in on this group, we can see that just 38 nautical miles separate Benjamin Frey in 15th and Jean Le Cam in 22nd. They are all taking that same route to the north of the Azores, and it's going to be very interesting as to see whether the west or eastern track between this group is going to pay off. Conrad Coleman is currently in 19th place, but has made huge gains on this pack. And right now, Benjamin Ferré is the leading daggerboard boat. We're going to see who, as they round that corner, is going to take the lead of the group. In 23rd, we can see that Kojiro Shiraishi has now passed the latitude of the Cape Verde Islands, and the wind has freed up a little bit for Kojiro Shiraishi in 24th, and just behind him is Violette Dorange, who we saw that bird paid a visit to her boat. In 29th place, Antoine Cornick continues to make good progress towards the equator, and the wind angle and strength is a bit better for both Oliver Heer and Jingkun Xu. Further back, we can take a look at Manuel Cousin, Fabrice Amadeo and Dennis van Weenberg, who are stuck a little bit in light breeze at the moment. On the leaderboard at 0600 hours UTC, we're looking at this group between 15th and 22nd place. Benjamin Ferré there in the lead of it, but just 38 nautical miles back, Jean Le Cam. We've got a mix of daggerboard and foiling boats there, so it's going to be really interesting as they make the turn, as they go north of the Azores, as to who's going to end up in the lead. And as we saw, Conrad Coleman, who was so far back just 3 weeks ago, right in the mix in this group. Will he become the winner of the Daggerboards? Kojiro Shiraishi was talking about his routing options around the Azores, and sailworld.com's New Zealand editor Richard Gladwell took a look on PredictWind to see if this was correct, and every single option does go to the north of the Azores. It looks like he's got a light wind patch before he gets there, just beyond the latitude of the Canary Islands, and then it's into the next strong low pressure system in the North Atlantic. Most of the options go extremely north, with some going as far as the southwestern tip of Ireland. So it's going to be extremely interesting to see how this plays out. This is looking a long way in the future. We're talking about finishing towards the 7th of February. So the weather models could well change, but we haven't yet seen an option go this far north.
In front. Behind. In front, behind. Now if you look closely, you'll see there's something up in the sky behind me that there's not in front of me. And that's clouds. Clouds, my friend. In front of me there are no clouds. And what does that mean? That means I'm entering the zone of blue. Now you might well say, the zone of blue. Fantastic, blue sky. What's not to like about that? Well, if you look at the weather forecast, the zone of blue is this bit, and that's scary. The last great obstacle that remains before hooking into the last depression that's going to take me all the way back to Les Sables is this zone of high pressure. So typically known as the Azores High. It is this bubble of anticyclonic or high pressure zone in the middle of the Atlantic, typically centered around the Azores. And so if we zoom out, this is where we are now. This is the bubble of high pressure. These are the Azores. So basically the next couple of days is going to be cruising around this way through the light winds. I know this probably won't show up on camera, but stars out here are just amazing. I guess that's one of the advantages of the blue zone. No clouds means perfect night sky. Time to get a little bit of sleep. So here we go. Best part of the day. It's not for long, but man, it feels good.
Well, next up is finishing, repairing my little hole in the mainsail. So I have to prepare some Technora / Kevlar patches, and that's what I'm about to do. I have to cut out some circles, and what's better to take the shape of a circle than my toilet. And here we are. Carrying this home. As you can see, it's not very big. I think you need some patches over it. Currently sits to the second floor, so I'll get lit. So, patches applied on either side. Now it's time to hoist this mainsail again.
Thank you for watching today. Please do subscribe to our channel using the button down here, and take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com for all the latest news from the world of sailing.